Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Mishpachah. Yes, this is the day that the Most High has made, and we are rejoicing in it. We're very glad in it. And yes, we are here at the appointed hour, and we are ready and waiting to get into this day's Torah portion. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great. And hey, we will be right back. We're going to get into this. We greet you all in the name of the Most High. Glad that you are here. We're going to have a wonderful time. Going to have a good time. This is going to be a wonderful discussion.
Let me make you laugh.
All praises to the Most High. Very glad. Yes, I agree with you, my brother George Evans. Yes, it is a joyful Shabbat. We're glad to be here. Listen, this is the best day of the week. This is the best time of the week, and I can't wait to just enjoy the rest of Shabbat. I greet you all in the name of the Most High. I greet you, and I say before you, as it has often been said, that this is the day that the Most High has made, and we are rejoicing in it. We're very happy. Those of you that are new to this channel, yes, this is a safe channel. What do I mean by that? Yes, we are Hebrews. Yes, we follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, but we are not angry. We do not teach hate. We teach the law. We teach truth. We teach righteousness, and we believe that we have the wherewithal. If you listen to what we teach, yes, we do believe that we can save the entire planet. We believe that this is what brings nations and families back together. This is what heals individuals. We truly believe that this is what the future of a healthy community and a healthy nation is born of, the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Many have asked, well, you used to do this, you used to do that. Why are you with these Hebrews? Well, number one, because we are Hebrew, for one, and for two, as I've already stated, the very fabric of what we teach, the very fabric that we stand upon, is that which heals the individual, which brings the individual into right alignment with the Most High, and it causes the multiplication of self. What do you mean by that? Well, once the individual himself or herself has been, if you'll allow me to put it this way, if they have been realigned and harmonized with the Most High and with His laws, statutes, and commandments, then they will find that there is what I call the multiplication of self. You will automatically begin to grow, and where you were one, you will be two. Okay, and then after the multiplication of self, between a man and a woman, you have what? You have more multiplication with children. This is called a family. So the healed self has brought other selves into existence, if you will, and they become a family unit. Well, this process continues. One healthy family brings about the wherewithal for another family to be made healthy, and you begin to have a community. You do this among communities, and then you have a nation. Everything was within the Tanakh for the multiplication of self, the multiplication of the family, the multiplication of the community, and the multiplication of the nation. And when the nation itself is so ordained by the Most High, this is when we read that the Messianic age will come, and we will be able to teach other nations the truth. My brothers and my sisters, this is the secret. This is perhaps the best kept secret of the plans of the Most High. And so I greet you with the words and in the name and the honor of the Most High. And I say Shalom Aleichem. And to you, my brothers and sisters, we want you to know that you're in the right place. This is the place where we teach Yah and Yah only, and we also teach His word only, which means that we do not by any means subscribe to the Christian New Testament. We know that it has been placed, right in the back of the Tanakh, but I would even say tongue-in-cheek that is not even the Tanakh. What Christians call the Old Testament is not the Tanakh. It is a manipulated version. It is a version that has been seduced by those of Christendom, and they did so in order to bring about their fantasy of Christianity. And this is what they did. They superimposed upon the Tanakh their wishes, their desires, and we have the tainted version of that we call the Old Testament, which goes with their Christian New Testament, which is completely fiction. The only place where the New Testament is allowed to even resemble the words of the Most High is when it quotes it verbatim without manipulation. I have found that whenever the Christian New Testament quotes the words of the Most High as found in the Hebrew Bible, it is either to perpetuate a lie or it is there to cause deception by means of another way and form. And with that being the case, I will tell you this, even the very ones that believe that Yeshua ben Yosef, called Jesus by the Greeks and the pagans, those who believe that he is Yah in the flesh, which is blasphemy within itself, even those that believe that he is the Messiah and that he is Yah in the flesh, neither does he endorse the Christian New Testament, neither did he endorse Christianity. The very one that they call the Christ is not a Christian. He was of the Yahudi. He was of the Jews. He was of us. He was of our people. He believed like we do. He ate like we do. He walked and worshiped the Most High like we do. Yes, he was one of us and not one of them. One of the greatest deceptions and one of the greatest tools that wickedness has devised has been to actually take the object and make it to be that which is worshipped, that which is revered, and that which is made to be completely opposite than what it truly, truly was. Yeshua ben Yosef, called Jesus by the Greeks and the pagans, never set out to invent a religion. He never set out to change the words of the Most High. He never set out to destroy the law. He never set out to neutralize or to circumvent the law, but rather he was of us. In fact, if you want to know what he gave endorsement to, well, he said, hey, as far as salvation is concerned, the Yahudi, those who are Hebrew, they know what's up because, yes, they got it on lock, and that's what we flow with. We know what we worship. It's right there in your Christian New Testament in the book of John, chapter 4, verse number 22 and 23, if you want to go a little bit further. He tells you what he endorses, and it's, guess what? It's not the New Testament. No, it's not Christianity. No, it's not the Pope. It's not any of that garbage, but rather it is the ancient ways of the Yahudi, which we embrace on this channel. And we've been endeavoring for some weeks and even some months to bring you back into the right understanding of what the ancients thought and what the ancients believed when it comes to the Most High and how they worship the Most High. And so this is our endeavor, even as we have taken steps to communicate what Yahwism is on the broader scale and how that the worship of Yah is but a smaller subset. It's a smaller little pocket of belief in the larger system of Yahwism, and we are bringing that to you bit by bit, piece by piece, and we're helping you to understand what the ancients and how the ancients understood and worshiped the Most High. That being stated, on this channel, you will receive the word of the Most High, even as I've already begun to give you that, even in this open dialogue, or monologue, I should say. You need to know that I'm going to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I'm your More for this channel. I am More Malkia Uriel. And yes, I am here to greet you in the name of the Most High. This is a channel where we love the Most High, where we keep his laws, statutes, and his commandments. And we do so with a joyful heart. We do so lovingly. We do so together as a united community, as a people. We do so. And with that being stated, you will find that as we obey him, that there are 10 sayings that act as a guardrail. There are 10 sayings that act as our path. They are even a miniature covenant, according to Deuteronomy 4 and verse number 13. yes, you will find that all of the covenant itself, it does come and it is in line with and in harmony with these sayings, these 10 declarations. And so those of us who walk the covenant, we say that first of all, we will not have, the first commandment is that we will not have. The first point of this covenant, this contract, this agreement is that we will not have any other Elohim. We will not acknowledge, we will not worship, we will not bow down to any other Elohim save our Elohim, the creator of heavens and earth, noted by the name of Yah, as it is written in Psalms 68:4. And we call him Yah. The longer version of his name, we use the ancient convention of the silent Hey, and we say Yah-oh. And with that being the case, we call upon his name as he has said to do. And we will have no other Elohim before him. Also, we will not make any object to worship. We will not, whether it be an object of stone, wood, steel, no matter what it is, even of an ideology, the idea of a God that's different than the one that created the heavens and the earth, we will not worship. We will not exalt a man as God, nail him to a cross, have a hippie on a stick, and say, now let's bow down unto him. No, this is blasphemy. We will not do it. Why? Because it goes against the words of the Most High. And people said, no, but you've got to bow down to the hippie of the stick in order to please the Most High. This is a deception, and we do not fall for it. Also, we will not take the name, the character, nor the presence of the Most High in vain. We will not do it. We also remember to keep Shabbat holy by doing no work, no labor during the daylight hours of this seventh day since creation. We honor it and we keep it before him. Even though we are in exile, we know that at points in times we are constrained to work on days when we should be honoring Shabbat. This is something that often goes outside of our control, and we wait for the redemption that will come from the Most High. But until then, we seek to do no work during the daylight hours of Shabbat, but rather we will honor the Shabbat. We also honor our mothers and our fathers, that our days may be long upon the earth. And we honor our ancestors that have gone on before us, because we stand upon their shoulders, all the holy, righteous ancestors that yet stand before the Most High. And in the presence of the Most High, we honor you. And we exalt what the Most High is doing in your lives, even though you've transitioned into the spirit realm. We are thankful of you, and we love you, and we honor you, and we remember you even as we are in this earth. We continue to honor you, that our days may be long upon the earth. And we honor you as he has said to do. We also will not shed any innocent blood. We will not commit adultery. We will not steal. We will not be a false witness in any matter of adjudication, but we shall speak the truth in the court of law that Yah has set before us. And we will not at all in any way covet what someone else has, for we know that we have the blessings of the Most High, and we know that he has dispatched his blessings to seek us out. All we have to do is be willing and be obedient, and we will eat the good and the fat of the land. With this being stated, we honor you. Those of you that are here, we give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as it is given unto us, and that material of the Tanakh that has been handed down to us by our forefathers, that we deem to be righteous and that we deem to be of holy report. It is this corpus of material that we stand upon, and we deem it to be the word of the Most High. And yes, this is what we have been given, and we so embrace it. I remind you that any particular book of literature or any writing can be said to be scripture if those reading it deem it to be authentic, deem it to be authoritative, and deem it to be something that they can live their lives by. You've just said that that writing is scripture. Well, something can be scripture, but not the word of the Most High. You can believe that something, listen, I can take a Sports Illustrated and I can believe with all my heart, as wrong as I would be, as sincerely wrong as I could be, I could take that Sports Illustrated And I could say, oh, I believe that these words came from heaven and oh, God wrote these words. Well, I would be wrong, but I will have just elevated that Sports Illustrated magazine, whatever it is, the Jet magazine, the Psychology Today, whatever magazine it is, I've elevated it to the place of scripture, but all scripture is not the word of the Most High. Only that which the Most High has truly said is his word. And so we embrace the Tanakh as being the only words of the Most High, understanding that it was written by men, and that while we do not expect it to be perfect, we do expect it to be holy and it be from the Most High, and therefore we stand upon it. May Yah bless the reading, the hearing, the understanding, and the doing of his word. And we also, upon this channel, we not only follow the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, but we love to pray and we love to praise him. Now, I know that it's been a while since we've actually done a song here. But hey, we are just really wanting to focus, and not that we won't ever sing again, but hey, we just believe in giving praise unto the Most High, right? We believe it, that you don't have to have a perfect voice. Why? Because this is not Hebrew entertainment, but rather this is a praise unto the Most High. And so at times we will give praise unto the Most High. And yes, I will even grab a microphone and sing. Not that I can, because I can't. I make it well known that when my voice cracks, because it surely will, and when I get off key, because I surely will get off key, yes, we give praise unto the Most High, not because this is Hebrew entertainment, because this is an exercise in praising the Most High. Well, with that being the case, my brothers and sisters, yes, you're in the right place. You're with the people that love the Most High, that keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And yes, this community is ordained of the Most High. This is prophecy actually coming to pass. Yes, it is. It's prophecy coming to pass, as is found in the book of Isaiah, that says that there will be those of us that would name ourselves after Israel, and we will co-sign with the name of the Most High. And this is coming to pass even as we speak, all over the world. I'm talking from Mexico to Africa, from Germany to the United States. I'm talking from China to Indonesia and all the other places around the world. And even in India, we have people that are saying, I am Israel, I am Hebrew, understanding what their heritage is. And this is prophecy coming to pass. No, it cannot be stopped. No, it cannot be stopped. This is the hand of the Most High. And this is what is happening. Well, let us pray. We're going to get ready to pray. And as we do so just a little bit differently here. We go within and we ask ourselves the simple question: have we purposely and intentfully decided that we were going to disobey the Most High? Have we been at war with the Torah? Have we been at war with his laws, statutes, and commandments? And if we can say to that no, we did not set out on purpose to ignore or to disobey the words of the Most High, then we can go before him with mercy, because surely we would say that there may be something that we don't know of that we did actually, that we did do that may not be in accordance with the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Well, if that is the case, then we come before the Most High with mercy. So let's do some inner inventory and let's ask ourselves the pertinent questions, and then we're going to come back together and we are going to pray. Prepare yourself to pray and to make sure that you can come before the Most High with a good and solid conscience, with a heart that knows that you're walking in righteousness with him. Let us do that, and we'll be right back. Let us pray. Baruch atah Ya'o, Baruch atah Hashemayim, Baruch atah Haaretz, Baruch atah Kol Haolam, Ki atah Melech Haolam. Blessed are you, Most High, in heaven. Blessed are you in earth. Blessed are you in all the universe, for you are the King of the universe. Atah yada she'anaknu ha'am shel habrit shelek. You know that we are the people of your covenant, and we come before you. We come before you, Ya'o. Enachnu boim lifnecha. We come before you and we say before you, Most High, that we are your people and that we love you with all of our hearts. You are everything unto us. Atah hakol bishbelanu, ki atah yada she'anachnu ha'am. You know that we are your people and we love you with all of our hearts. We seek you, we honor you, and we come to obey your word. We come to do your will. We come to obey your laws, statutes, and your commandments. We open up the doors of our heart to your word and to your influence, to your truth. We open it up to your word and to your covenant. And we thank you. Your word is eternal and it lasts forever. It endures forever. What you have established is true and it continues throughout all generations. Your word, it is not expiring. Your word comes to pass and it stands forever. It continues to stand forever. And we stand upon your word. Your word, like you, is not changing. You are the same today and forever. And we acknowledge that you do not change. Therefore, we, the children of Jacob, Habnei Yaakov, we are not consumed because of your covenant. You do this for your covenant's sake. You do this for your word's sake that you have sworn unto our forefathers, not because of our righteousness, not because of our goodness, not because of who we are, but because of your covenant. And we thank you for your covenant that you've given unto us, and we walk therein. So therefore, we look to you. We look to the heavens. We look to you, Most High, our help and our strength. And we thank you for your blessings. We're so thankful for the covenant that you made unto our forefathers. We're so thankful for your blessings that you give unto us, the manifestation of your covenant and the manifestation of your kingdom of Israel. We thank you, Most High. We give you the praise, the glory, and the honor for what you are doing in this earth. We thank you that you have not left this earth alone. You have not left this earth to the wicked, but you, yes, you do rule and you reign even in this earth. The cattle upon 1,000 hills belong to you. And if you were hungry, you would not need to let us know. But everything belongs to you. All the gold, all the silver, all the wealth, all the minerals. The earth is yours, Yah, and the fullness thereof. It belongs to you and not to the wicked. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just and the righteous. For the just and the righteous shall receive, shall inherit the earth, the world, and all that there is therein. And this shall be a righteous holy place from sea to shining sea. All over this planet, men shall call upon your name, and it shall be a righteous place, a place of righteousness where your kingdom dwells, where your kingdom expands, and where righteousness extends from coast to coast. Holiness and righteousness extends all over the world, and we will not study war anymore, but it shall be completely different. And we thank you. We thank you for your kingdom coming to pass. We thank you for your will coming to pass. For this place shall not always be evil, neither shall the wicked and the evildoer be in control and to run everything that exists. But no, Most High, we thank you that it is your way that endures, your righteousness, your peace, your truth, that is growing and that is increasing in influence and that is overtaking and overrunning that which is wicked, that which is unholy, that which is of the wicked one. We thank you, Most High, for what you are doing. We thank you for lifting up every member of this community, our elder Leonie Croning, our dear brother George Evans, and many others who need your help, who need your assistance. The Franks, along with Papa Frank and Josh and Penny Frank, we lift them all up before you, and you know every one of our needs. We say that we are the children of your covenant. Therefore, look down from your holy habitation and bless us. Reveal and manifest your covenant unto us, Most High, In your name and in your name alone, Yah, we do pray and we honor you. For now and always, in your name. Aman wa aman. Well, yes, we do give praise unto the Most High. Hallelujah. Let me give some shout outs. We got family up in the house. Let's go ahead and give some shout outs. And the first person, yes, to turn the lights on this morning was my brother from another mother, my brother Bergen Paris. Peace and blessings to you and your family. I love you guys. We are glad that you're here. He's our minister of safety and security. Our brother George Evans is here. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. Our brother Raymond Radcliffe is in the house. Peace and blessings to you. And also we have with us Miss H is in the house. Peace and blessings to you, Miss H. Always glad to see you, my sister. Glad that you are here. And we have as well our beloved Elder Christine Croning that is here with us. And as I try to scroll and not miss anyone, our brother Joshua Cooper is here. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. My brother Ben Naphtali is here. And there are many, as always, there's so many more that are watching us than are in the chat room. We ask that you would join us. I say it all the time. We don't bite unless you bite first. You would be welcome to come on in and to share your comments. And yes, share your comments and your questions. And we just want to let you know that you are welcome. Listen, all are welcome. We don't teach hate. We don't teach hate at all, but all are welcome here if you love the Most High and you keep the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. And hey, we can even have discussion on this channel. We hold to the philosophy that's found in Isaiah, I believe it's 1:15. Come, let us reason together. Let us reason together. Let's bring our intellect to the table and let's talk about things. Right now, you don't have to talk about it in anger and be all disrespectful. No, you don't have to do that at all, but rather we can have a discussion as adults. Peace and blessings to you, Michael Charles Marsh. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. Glad to see you. Glad to see you, my brother. Glad that you're with us. And with that being the case, hey, we're getting ready to go into our first segment, which is our Torah portion. Yes, our Torah portion is coming up, and we will be right back.
Only makes you laugh.
My brothers and sisters, we have before us, we have a wonderful Torah portion that we're going to get into. And with this Torah portion, we are going to once again venture into this story, this life of Abraham that we have been touching upon. But we now enter into the phase of this where the covenant of the Most High is coming into play. And it's coming into play within its second generation. Now, remember, Abraham had Isaac and Isaac had Jacob, right? So we're following the cessation, and we're following how the covenant of the Most High, how it comes to pass throughout the generations. The topic is not Jacob. The topic is not Esau. The topic is not Isaac. The topic is not Rebeccah. No, the topic is how the Most High is moving in the generations following Abraham. With that being the case, as we take a look here, we go to Genesis or Bereshit 25. We go to Bereshit 25, and this is what we begin to read as we go here. And I'm going to get the scriptures for you, and we're going to read these together. Bereshit 25, and we want to begin. We're going to begin at verse number 19. And as we begin with verse number 19, we're going to continue the revelation of how the covenant and the word of the Most High, how the Most High is responding to the succeeding generations that have come from Abraham. So here we go. Let's go in and let's begin at Genesis 25. We're going to begin at verse number 19, and notice what it reads. And these are the generations of Yitzhak, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac, or Yitzhak, and Yitzhak was 40 years old when he took Rebeccah to wife. Now, please keep in mind that Abraham begot Yitzhak. Now, this actually is notable, okay? Why is that notable? Because you understand that children were named, okay, after significant happenings or the days and the times. And it is in Bereshit chapter 17, verse 17, where Abram first laughs at the Most High. Yes, this man of faith laughs in his heart at the Most High. And then, of course, in the next succeeding chapters, Sarah also laughs, but then she lies about it and says, well, I didn't laugh. Well, notice Isaac is named Yitzhak, or laughter, because they both laughed at the Most High. Now, of course, Abram is said to be this mighty man of faith, right? But we find that that is not true when you look at the narrative. And so it is now forever remembered that they laughed. Now, it's been spun to say, oh, you know, when I had a child, oh, we just got so happy and we started laughing. But the laughter actually comes into play what they did before the Most High. You have to remember, Yitzhak, he is the promised of the Most High. He was promised to Abraham from the Most High. And so now we find that Yitzhak, he is named Laughter because both his mama and his daddy laughed in the face of the Most High. This flies in the face of what Christianity would tell you, that Abraham was this great man of faith. And so the very principle of Christendom and Christianity itself is that you have faith unto righteousness and salvation, and you believe without the law. Well, you're going to see in this very chapter where Abraham did keep the law. He kept the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So let's dig in. So we find here that Abraham begot Yitzhak, okay, again, because both he and Sarah laughed in the face of the Most High. And we notice here in verse number 20, and Yitzhak was 40 years old when he took Rebeccah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. So as you take a look here, we understand something very true, very serious, and that one, Isaac was 40 years old. Now, a lot of our brothers like to highlight that and they say, see, Isaac, he was older when he took that young wife. And it is true that in cultures of the East, they seem to not have as much of a problem with gaps in ages and differences of ages. When you take a look here, we find that, well, with Isaac being 40 years of age, when you go back and you see how Rebeccah was getting water for all the camels, okay, that tells us a number of different things. One, that tells us that she was not someone who was, of the age of 10 years old or 12 years old, because someone that young would not have been able to do that much work. So this had to have been someone who is young, but yet and still of a young adult woman age. So we look here and we see that it's perfectly feasible that Rebeccah could have been, some say, well, she was 16, she was 17. It is highly feasible that she was possibly even of the age of being an adult. She could have been 18, she could have been 20. We see here because it took her 20 years in order to have a child, okay? Abraham, if we notice here, Abram, he was actually 40 years of age when he took Rebeccah to wife, okay? Who was the daughter, okay, a Syrian, right? Verse number 21, and Isaac entreated unto Yah for his wife because she was barren. Okay, it wasn't that Isaac was shooting blanks. No, Rebeccah was barren, right? And so Yah was entreated of him, and guess what? Rebeccah, his wife, conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, "Why in the frog legs is this happening to me? What is going on here?" And it just so happens that she did inquire of the Most High, and there was an answer that came to her of the Most High. Now, please understand that this is a point that I often make and that I need to reiterate. Okay, so let's take a look here and let's see. So she went to inquire of Yah, and Yah said unto her, this is what I want you to understand. 2 nations are in your womb. Wait a minute, stop right there. 2 nations are in your womb. The reason why that is an important statement is because nationhood and nations themselves, they are not biological or genetic to begin with. Now, they can become that. However, nations, at the core of their being, they are ideological. In other words, they're of a different typology. They're of a different type of people. Okay? It has nothing to do with genetics, even though the genetics can become a marker, but nationhood, from the standpoint of Torah, it deals with ideology rather than genealogies and biology alone. Okay? Because we notice here in this verse, we've got 2 nations that are in one womb. And so if ever there was a biological tie, there would be in the womb of Rebeccah, as Jacob and Esau were in the womb. You have here, biologically and genetically, they are of the same stock, but they're 2 nations, because as we see here, you're going to deal with 2 different ideologies. In other words, 2 different ways of living, 2 different ideas, 2 different ways of looking at reality, 2 different ways of looking at this physical dimension of a world that we live in, 2 different ways, okay, of interpreting the facts, 2 different ideologies completely, and these are the 2 different nations. And notice what is read here, and 2 manner of people. This is exactly what I'm saying. It's ideological. And 2 manner of people shall be separated from your bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right, the elder shall serve the younger. Now, please keep in mind, this was a word of the Most High that Rebeccah received, which tells us, 1, women could entreat of the Most High and be heard of the Most High without any issues whatsoever. The Most High and this whole flow of how spirituality worked in the days of the ancients, it was non-misogynistic. It was not chauvinistic at all. Okay, neither was it chauvinistic, but the Most High honored those who were his children, period, and point blank. Anyone could inquire of the Most High. Okay. And you could be heard of the Most High. So here Rebeccah was heard of the Most High. And as you see, he told her, look, the elder is going to serve the younger. Okay. The Most High gave her the whole lowdown of what was happening. Okay. He gave her the inside scoop of what was happening, which would later come to fruition in her days, which, by the way, she would have a hand in, as we're about to see. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Okay, which is why Esau is named Esau, because it has something to do mostly with being hairy and not necessarily being red. That comes later, okay? But it says that he was red and he was hairy, and basically they called his name Esau. And after this came out his brother, but he had his hand on his heel, and so they called him Jacob, okay? They called him Jacob. Like, okay, you like to play around with feet. Okay, we're gonna call you Jacob. And it means heel. It means, by implication, it means somebody that's trying to, trip you up, so to speak. But this here is interesting. It says, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. So it took 20 years from the time that Isaac and Rebekah were married. It took 20 years for her to have a child. Okay. With that being the case, women can have babies into their 40s. Okay. So it's not beyond reason to think that maybe she was a little bit on the older side rather than being, excessively young. Isaac was 60 years old. 3 times 20, a score is 20. He was 60 years old when she bare him. Notice what it reads in verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So here we have where Yaakov, he was a homebody. He like, I'm not out in them streets like that. Esau liked to be out in them streets. Esau likes to hunt. Esau, likes to pretend like he's the alpha male, and he's out there doing his hunting, and look, man, I ain't trying to do all that. Jacob like, dude, I will stay home and chill and be just fine. He was a man Jacob was a man that had understanding. Esau was more so just a doer, like a sports loving, man that's just like, hey, I'm out here in these streets. And so notice what we read in verse number 28. And Isaac loved Esau. Because, that's my boy there. Yeah, that's my boy. Because he did eat of his venison. Yeah, that boy can hunt. Man, he can hunt, he can cook. Shoot. Yeah. But then notice what it reads here. But Rebeccah loved Jacob. Okay. Why? Because Rebeccah was in the house. Jacob was a house body. So naturally Rebeccah would be closer to Jacob. Okay. Now, yes, we could really comment on how you're not supposed to have favorites in the family. We could really make a comment about that here, right? You see families becoming more dysfunctional when they take a side and when they say, well, this one is my favorite or that one is my favorite. You honor all of your children for what they bring to the table, so to speak, for their difference in personalities. Everyone contributes to the whole and the well-being of the family, right? Everyone contributes to that. No one is to be left out. No one is to be looked down upon. Everyone has their purpose. As I said before, someone has to bring in the groceries. Someone has to take out the garbage. But together, we're all working this thing together here. So Esau was loved by Isaac. And Jacob was loved by Rebeccah. You can imagine that Rebeccah and Jacob spent more time together as well as, and by the way, I think that that's proven in the text. And of course, Esau, and was loved by his father Isaac. And notice what it says here, verse number 29. And Jacob, man, Jacob was cooking, right? And Esau came from the field. He hadn't caught anything. He was hunting. He was hungry. And Esau said unto Yaakov, look, dude, give me something to eat, man. I'm hungry. And he said, look, give me some of them lentils you got over there. Give me some of that soup you making over there. He says, because I'm faint. Okay. And therefore his name was called Edom. Okay. And Jacob said, sell me this day your birthright. Jacob, who was a little bit of an opportunist here, he saw an opportunity to get the birthright. But part of this, again, even Jacob's disposition and his demeanor was more so from a prophetic standpoint, because if you recall, again, Rebeccah heard that, the younger is going to rule over the older. And so, you take a look at that and it's like, hey, there is no way that all of this is just kind of like on accident. No, the will and the plan of the Most High is being outlaid here. Even though it's coming to pass in a way that we would not suspect, it is still being, if you allow me to put it this way, it's what's being brought to pass, despite the fact that we may not agree in the particular ways that it's coming to pass. It's still coming to pass. Okay, so put it to you like this. Let me put it to you like this. The word of the Most High is going to come to pass whether or not that word is in the midst of liars, cheaters, or that word is in the midst of those who have integrity and tell the truth. What's going to happen is that word of the Most High is going to come out. It's going to come to pass. But if you have people that are liars and cheaters, okay, then something's going to happen where they're going to lie because they're liars and they're cheaters, where the will of the Most High still ends up getting done. But if people are people of integrity, which, by the way, Yaakov learns later on in life to be a man of integrity, the will of the Most High still ends up being done. So the word of the Most High does come to pass. But when you find things happening like what we're going to see here today, it's because the word of the Most High is put in a place where it's working on people that, hey, may not have integrity, they lie, they do whatever. Bottom line of it is the will of the Most High is going to be done, right? His word does come to pass. Now, if people decide to lie, if they decide to cheat, they decide to steal, that's not the will of the Most High. No, the individual decided to lie and to steal. If individuals decide, hey, I'm going to be truthful, I'm going to have integrity, then the word of the Most High will take a completely different avenue and bring itself to pass through that, rather than through someone lying and someone cheating and someone stealing. So it's not that the will of God was that they lie. No, the will of God came to pass despite the fact that Rebeccah was on something else and Jacob was a trickster. Hey, that has nothing to do with it. But then again, it has a little something to do with it. Okay, because again, the word comes to pass is just those that are being dealt with decide the path that the word will take in order for it to come to pass. I hope that makes sense. The word of the Most High does not lie, but if the word is put in a place and deals with people that do tell lies, the word will bring itself to pass no matter what. So Jacob said, hey, dude, I see you a little hungry over there. Yup, I'm so hungry, man. I don't know what to do. Man, sell me your birthright, dude. You don't need it anyway. But Esau kind of agreed. Look at verse number 32. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? Okay. So the word of the Most High knew exactly who it was dealing with, right? It's coming to pass. It will not tarry. And so every situation, everything is happening to bring the word of the Most High to pass. What do we gather from that? We have the word of the Most High on our lives. Yes, it's better for you if you surround yourself with people that have integrity and that tell the truth and that won't do you wrong. But if you're in the midst of people that will do you wrong, then guess what? Hey, the word of the Most High is going to come to pass. Anyway, it's just that you may not like what happens when the word comes to pass. Okay, again, the word does not lie. The Most High does not delight in those that are deceitful and tricksters. But when his word is spoken, if those that it concerns are liars and cheaters, then yes, then the word of the Most High is that will bring itself to pass. It didn't make anyone lie, it didn't make anyone cheat, but hey, it's just in the midst of people that are cheaters and that are liars. It's kind of like in Isaiah 6, when Isaiah saw the glory of the Most High, he said, oh, I'm a man of unclean lips. Man, just being here in the midst of your presence really points out the fact that I ain't right. Okay. And so we find some of the same dynamic taking place when it comes to the word of the Most High being fulfilled amidst people that don't do right, people that are tricksters. Bottom line of it is the word is going to come to pass. So then, basically, Jacob said, hey, dude, look, man, I'm serious, man. I ain't playing. Yeah, I got this suit and I'm holding this bowl from you, but I need you to swear to me this day. I want you to swear to me. And he swore to him. So this was actually a transaction that was done, okay, Esau, of his own accord, he swore to him that day, and he did sell to him his birthright. Okay? Now, I didn't know that your birthright was something that could be sold, but apparently it is. And he gave him his birthright. But by the way, we do know this to be the case because we know what happened to Reuben. Okay, we know that Reuben, after having slept with Bilhah, his father's concubine, basically he forfeited his birthright. So just because a person is born first and that they would normally inherit the birthright doesn't mean that they get that birthright. The Tanakh is filled with situations where the younger served as the head and the ruler over the older. Okay, it doesn't always go just by way of birth succession. So then verse number 34 says, then Jacob gave Esau the bread and the pottage of lentils, and he did eat and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Esau was like, so what? I didn't need that anyway. That birthright wasn't doing me no good. Man, I was so hungry. Felt like I was about to die. That birthright wasn't doing me no good. Okay, I'm going to be fine no matter what. But now, as time changes, we see something that happens here. Look at verse number 1 of chapter 26. And there was a famine in the land besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham, and Isaac went unto Avimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And Yah appeared unto him and said, go not down to Mitzrayim, dwell in the land which I'm going to tell you of, sojourn in the land, stay in that land, and I'm going to be with you. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but look, I am going to be with you. And yes, end of the story is I'm going to bless you, right? For unto you and unto your seed, I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oaths which I swear unto Abraham thy father. Okay, let me just make a note here. The Most High says, I'm going to give to you all these countries because they are his to give. There are those amongst us who want us to believe that the earth and the world was given over to some sort of cosmic Satan-like enemy and all the world belongs to him. This is a lie from Christianity. Don't believe it. Well, he says, I'm going to give you these countries, aka because they're mine, right? And I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father, and I will make of thee the multitude, I will make you as the multitudes of the stars of heaven, and I will give unto your seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham obeyed. Now we get to what I was saying. You're going to see where Abraham follows the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, which within itself is somewhat of a broader picture that speaks more about Yahwism and how the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High were apparently known on a broader scale than what you first may imagine just by reading certain texts within the Tanakh. Okay, notice what we read here. It says that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. If Abraham obeyed his voice, then, and he kept his charge, then there must have been a charge, a commandment, a statute, and a law for Abraham to obey. Now, I know that this is somewhat controversial because some say, well, all that means is that Abraham heard the Most High in his heart, see, and he obeyed him from his heart. Well, while that applies and while that may be so, there is evidence within the Tanakh that would suggest that there is a greater sense of the law. There's a greater understanding of the law and it being well known in the land. Okay, and I don't want to start getting into some of the pillars of Yahwism and some of the base understandings of Yahwism, but we've been through that. We've talked about that, but let's just keep it moving. So Abraham did obey his voice. He did keep his charge, his commandments, and his statutes and his laws. So this is something that Abraham did. He's walking in covenant. Therefore, Isaac is going to be blessed. Okay, as Isaac does the same. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of that place asked him of his wife. Okay, and he said, and by the way, this sounds familiar, doesn't it? Because Abraham did the same thing. Said, she is my sister. Well, right here, Isaac just tells a bold-faced lie. I mean, he really does. I mean, granted, you could say that she's a distant cousin, but Abram could really say, no, dog, she my sister for real. Like, she my sister because, you know, she's a daughter of my father, but not my mother. So here, Isaac just bold-faced lies and says she is my sister. Now, he could have meant, well, she's, you know, of my kin, which sometimes they did use that, right? They did use those familial relationships and say brother and sister, when really they were just of their kin. Maybe he meant it that way. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. But he said, she's my sister, for he feared, and maybe this is an insecurity that he inherited from his, you know, from his daddy, for he feared saying, man, she my wife, because, man, they gonna fool around and kill me, man, for her, because she looked so good. And by the way, her looking good is what you find being alluded to in the latter clause of this verse. She is my wife, lest, said he, the men of this place should kill me for Rebeccah. Notice what it reads here, because she was fair to look upon. Now, wait a minute. I gotta point this out. Okay? Because the King James translators purposely put the word fair here, okay? And if we were to define what the word fair means, it usually, in fact, let me do this. Let me see if I can bring up a definition of what the word fair means, and let's see if we can give you okay, this is in relationship to okay, so let's go here if you don't mind. Let's take a look. Let me see if I can make this bigger for those of you that, okay, here we go. I looked up the word fair, okay? And let's take a look here. Fair commonly means just, equitable, treating people equally, okay? Or a public event, exhibition, example, a county fair. As an adjective, it also describes light skin and hair, okay? It could even mean sunny weather, but when it comes to describing a person, look at that. It means light of skin. And so the King James translators purposely put in fair because it would point towards beauty as being Eurocentric and of lighter skin, okay, which was also something that became an issue with slaves, because then there was a color envy kind of a thing. If you were lighter, right, you were said to be fair, and to be fair automatically meant beautiful. So this is a little bit of, you know, racism that we find amongst the King James translators dealing with beauty, saying that is fair, that is fair is that is light or light-skinned or white, okay? That's fair, that's beautiful. But wait a minute, when we actually take a look at the Hebrew, okay, when we take a look at the Hebrew does not say anything about light skin. The Hebrew says ki tovat, basically basically good to look at. In other words, she was fine as May wine. She was a good looking woman. It had nothing to do with skin color, okay? And this actually relates to another passage of scripture. If we go to the Song of Solomon, first chapter and verse number 5, it says, I am black, but comely. Again, the King James translators put in this racism here, okay? Because they said, you know, I am black, but I'm beautiful or comely. In other words, to be black is not beautiful. To be black is not comely. It's not something to be desired. So they put the but here. Again, when you go into the Hebrew, it says, Shekora, I'm black. Okay. Ani, I'm black. Shekora ani. In other words, black I am, or darkly complected I am. And if we go here, it says, and I'm beautiful to look at. Okay. The why on the beginning of that means together with, that is, in other words, together and. So this should really be, I am black and I am beautiful. Okay. Of the daughters of Israel. And we find that the later portion of this is a description. In the Hebrew, we can look at this and really interpret this as a description of the daughters of Israel that are also of a darker complexion. Okay? So this is just a little bit of, racism that's right here. It's right there in the Tanakh, done by the King James translators. Okay? So Rebeccah was fair to be, no, she was a good looking woman. Okay. She was a good looking, that's all it's trying to say. She was easy on the eye, like the old folks say. It doesn't mean that she was light skinned or that she was a white woman. And so therefore they want to kill Isaac's wife because she's a white woman. No, not at all. That is not what that means. That is not what that is saying. But notice what we find as we continue to read the text. Okay. The text says, and it came to pass that when he had been for a long time, that Abimelech, the king of the Philistines, looked out a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebeccah, his wife. It's like, man, this dude trying to trick me, man. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, look, man, I don't know why, just like your granddaddy, I don't know why you doing this, man. Okay. I mean, just like your daddy, I don't know why you doing this. You said that she's your sister. You know good and well that ain't your sister. You doing that. You down there fondling that woman in broad daylight. You know that ain't your sister. Okay. And Isaac said to him, because I said, dude, y'all gonna kill me for her because she looks so good. And Abimelech said, what is this that thou hast done unto us? One of the people might have lain with your wife. In other words, man, they could have slept with your woman, dude. And you would have brought guiltiness upon us. Now, again, this points to Yahwism, and it is Yahwistic in its nature because it's pointing towards sin. It's pointing towards that which goes against the law of the Most High. So therefore, they must have known something about the law of the Most High. And that's for our later discussion of Yahwism. Look at verse number 11. And Abimelech charged the people saying, look, don't nobody touch this man's woman. Otherwise, we're going to consider that reason for capital punishment. Okay. Then Isaac sold him the land, and he received 100-fold that same year. The Most High blessed him as he said he would. And the man waxed great. He waxed great, and he went forth and grew until he became very great. And this is what the Most High has for us all, that we wax great and that we become very great. Look at verse number 14 as we continue. For he had possession of flocks and possessions of herds and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. Like, look at dude, man. Dude make me sick. Man, look at dude, man. He act like he a little kingdom all by himself. Man, make me sick, man. Verse number 15. Okay. For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham, his father, the Philistines had stopped them and filled them with earth. And this is significant, my brothers and sisters, because while on one hand, it's not highlighted that Abraham dug as many wells as he did, but here we find that it's going to be something that really comes into play with Isaac. Why is that? It's going to be, what we're going to find is that Abraham is the introduction to the covenant and the introduction to life and Yah's ability to supernaturally bring about and sustain life. You'll find that we see that Isaac is the next version of that. He is the next generation of that. So everything that was in Abraham's path, if you will, is also in the path of Isaac, but Isaac takes it to another level. Okay? Isaac automatically takes the promises, and he takes everything the Most High did with Abraham, he takes it to another level. And because the covenant and the walking out of that covenant began with his father Abraham, we find Isaac repeating some of the same things that Abraham had to go through, including this particular session with Abimelech. As we continue, okay, they say, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. Isaac here, he departs, okay, and he pitches his tent in the valley of Gerar, and he dwells there. And Isaac digs, again, the wells which his dad dug. In other words, he has to go back and reestablish that his dad had done, okay? And we're going to find here that Abram, while he dig some wells, they were covered up, but Isaac came back and he ends up redigging them. Notice what it reads: for the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. So what I love about this is Isaac is taking it to the next level. He's redigging the wells. He's not letting that legacy be stopped by the death of his father Abraham, but he's calling them by the same names that his father called them, the wells, okay? Now, please understand that the significance of this is that these wells are portals of life, if you will. It is, and we're going to find out here just really very soon, and just a few verses away from it, that one well actually ends up becoming so significant that it ends up being a place and a city that's basically surrounded around that well, or because of that wellway, that position of life that Isaac, and this is what Isaac was doing. He was planting places where life could spring up, and this is what he was doing for his children that would come behind him. This is another version of a righteous man lays up an inheritance for his children. Abraham began it. Isaac had to come redig all the wells, and Isaac is doing this because he's about to give way for a number of children that will follow him and that will one day reap from what he is doing. So Isaac digs the wells through his servant. He digs the wells, and these are wells of spring water, okay? And so this is going to tend to life. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, man, these waters belong to us. We don't care about you digging them. They're still ours. Okay, and he called the name of the well Esek, because that means to arga. Y'all just arguing about these wells. I'm going to call this well Esek because that means to arga. You know how the old folks would say arga instead of argue. So yeah, he says, hey, and they digged another well and strove for that one also. And he called the name of it Sitnah. And he removed from thence and digged another well. For that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, for now Yah has given us room. So the Most High is dealing with Isaac with reestablishing the wells that his father dug, and then adding more wells to that. Okay, which the Most High uses as a portal of life, a means and a station for existence. And notice what we read here, okay, in verse number 23. And he went up from thence to Beersheba, and Yah appeared unto him that same night, and said, I am Elohim of Abraham your father. Don't be afraid. Okay, I know that my presentation of who I am may be fearful to you, but don't be afraid. I'm nothing to be afraid of, for I am with you, and I will bless you and multiply your seed. Okay, for my servant Abraham's sake. It's because I made a covenant with Abraham. It's not because you're so great. It's not because you the stuff. But I am doing this for Abraham's sake, even as we all are, right? And he built an altar there and called upon the name of Yah and pitched his tent there. And there Isaac's servants digged a well. And Avimelech went unto him in Gerar, and Ahuzath, one of his friends, and Phicol, the chief captain of his army. And Isaac said unto him, look, dude, I don't know why you trying to come over here to me now. You hate me. I know you hate me because you told me to get away from y'all before. So why you coming over here now? And they said, look, okay, look, we ain't tripping. We know that the Most High is with you. Okay, we saw you. Okay, so what we want to do is, look, we yeah, we kicked you out, but we wanted to kind of observe you a little bit more, and we see that the Most High is with you. So look, all we saying is, let's make an oath. Let's make an oath. Let us make a covenant. We see who the Most High is blessing, so we know we can't hurt you. Okay, verse 29 reads and says, that thou wilt do us no hurt, as we have not touched you. Okay, as we've not done unto you. We ain't done nothing to you. We didn't touch you. We didn't talk about your mama, nothing. We didn't say nothing. We didn't do you no harm, right? But we sent you away in peace. You are now blessed of the Most High, and we know it, so we not going to trip. We just want to covenant with you, right? We see who the Most High is blessing, okay? And people will do this to this day. If they see that you're blessed of the Most High, they will try to get in where they fit in because they know that the Most High is with you, right? And notice what it reads here. And they rose up betimes in the morning. They rose up early in the morning and swear one to another. And Isaac sent them away, and they departed from that place, okay? They made a covenant together. They swore an oath. And I want you to see something here. Verse number 32. And it came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came and told him concerning the well which they had digged, and said unto him, we have found water. And he called it Sheva. Sheva. Therefore the name of the city is Be'er Sheva unto this day. So now, please note that Sheva deals with 7, it deals with oaths, it deals with covenants. And so on this day, the very morning, okay, and the same day when this oath was made, when this covenant was made, his servant says, hey, we dug a well, and they called it Sheva, okay, meaning to 7 or to swear, okay, or to have an oath. And there they've named it Be'er Sheva unto this day. And so Beersheba then comes into existence and becomes a place, okay, because of that oath, because of that covenant, and because of the well, okay, because of the well that Isaac dug by means of his servants. And so Esau was 40 years old when he took his wife. Esau was 40 years old as well when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri, the Hittite, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon, Elon's daughter, the Hittite. Okay. Which were a grief to the mind of Isaac and unto Rebeccah. So Esau married again completely out of a completely different ideology. He's like, look, man, ain't nothing wrong with these skank women around here. Ain't nothing wrong with these skank women. I'm gonna marry me some of these skank women's. And so that's exactly what Esau did. Rebeccah and Isaac was like, no, man, we can't have this. So they were already bothered by the fact that Esau would choose a woman or, women like this. And Rebeccah was like, ain't nowhere in the world I'm going to let my son Jacob have some of these skank women like this. Ain't going to happen. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old, okay, here comes the juicy story, and his eyes were dim so that he could not see, he called Esau his son and said unto him, boy, get out there and get me some of that venison. You know how I like it. And he said, behold, I'm now old and I don't know when I'm going to die. Therefore, man, go on and get your stuff. Get out there. Give me that venison like you know I like it. You know how I like it now. Verse number 4, and make me some of that savory meat that I love and eat it, that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebeccah heard when Isaac spake unto Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt venison and to bring it. Now, Rebeccah knew it was going to take Esau a while, right? And Rebeccah said to her boy Jacob, look. Now, you know you my son that I like, and you know, I'm just saying, I heard your daddy tell your brother, go on and get him some venison, and he about to give him the blessing. Okay, because remember you told me that you got Esau's birthright? Look, so here's what you need to do, okay? And go get some kids, a couple of nice kids out the flock. I'm going to make it like your daddy like it. Okay, I'm going to make it just like your daddy like it. And he going to bless you instead. Now, I want you to see something here, because Jacob wasn't no dummy. Jacob was not a fool. Yaakov said, look, mama. He said, mama, look. Esau is hairy. Esau got all that hair on him. Okay? Ain't no way in the world I'm a fool daddy. You know I ain't gonna fool daddy, mama. You know that ain't gonna work. I'm smooth, mama. I ain't got all that hair on me. You know this. And look, here's what's gonna happen. Verse number 12. Here's what's gonna happen. Daddy gonna put his hands on me. He gonna feel that I ain't got all that hair on me. And he gonna say, boy, you lying to me. And rather than blessing me, daddy, he ain't about to try to whoop me, but he gonna curse me. Rather than blessing me, he gonna curse me. Okay? And his mother said unto him, boy, upon me be your curse. Don't even worry about that. Upon me be your curse. Okay? I mean, he's old. I got to take care of him. He can't hardly see. He ain't gonna divorce me. Please. I'm the only woman that he's ever known, and hey, I'm solid, and he gonna be upset. Right? Unless I can pretend like I don't know what happened either, but hey, your curse be upon me. Only obey my voice and go and fetch them. Okay? And he went and he fetched and brought them unto his mother, and she made that delicious meat like his daddy loves. And Rebeccah took goodly raiment of her elder son Esau, because she knew what dresser he kept his clothes in his room. Okay. And she put them on Jacob. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats that they had skinned upon the hands and upon the smooth of the neck of Jacob. And she said, here, boy, I'm done with this meat. Go in there and take that to your daddy. Go and take it. And you know Rebeccah was peeking around the corner, right, when all this was going on. And notice what happens here in verse number 18. And he came unto his father and said, Daddy, I'm here. And he said, man, who are you? You ain't, who are you? Cause something ain't right here. Verse number 19. And Jacob said unto his father, I'm Esau and stuff. Your firstborn. And I did what you told me to do. In fact, I'm here with your meal, okay? I'm here with your meal, okay? DoorDash just delivered it. I'm here. Here you go, Daddy. And Isaac said unto Jacob, no, you come a little closer, son. You ain't trying to come a little closer. My eyes may not work, but my ears are working just fine. Come here that I may, feel you and touch you, because something ain't right here. I need to see if you're my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. So between him feeling his hands, feeling the hair on his hands, and smelling his clothes, right? He just took it for a fluke. He like, whatever. You just sounded like, your brother Jacob today. Okay, you got this meat. You got the smell on your clothes, your hands. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy in his brother's Esau's hand, as his brother's Esau's hand. So he blessed him. And he said, man, before I do this, because like this is serious, before I do this, are you really my son Esau? And he said, I mean, yeah, sure I am. Yeah, sure I am. Verse 25, and he said, bring it near to me, boy. Give me that meat. You know I'm hungry. I've been waiting on it. Give me that meat, boy, that my soul may bless you. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. Yeah, because that wine is going to help too, right? So he brought him some wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled of his raiment and blessed him and said in his blessing, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field which Yah has blessed. Verse 28, therefore God give thee of the dew of the heaven and of the fatness of the earth and the plenty of corn and wine. Whatever this earth produces, may the Most High give it to you in abundance. Let people serve thee, nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curses thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. Now, it's this latter clause that I think later on got to Esau, where Esau changes, and rather than him trying to kill his brother, he realizes that, yes, he is blessed with the blessing, and therefore he needs to, do right by Jacob. So verse number 30. And it came to pass as soon as Isaac had made an end of his blessing. Okay. Then Jacob was like, whew, I'm gone. I'm out of here, man. All right, Daddy, you done with the blessing? Did you say amen? Okay, I'm gone. So Jacob's like, pew, I'm out of there. Verse number 31. And he said also, and he also had made, let me back up. Jacob was like, I'm out of here, gone, right? And Esau, when Jacob was leaving, Esau was on his way to come into the room where his daddy was. And he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto him, man, who are you, dude? Who are you? Who are you? And he says, I'm your firstborn son, Esau. And Isaac trembled, because Isaac knew what had happened. Isaac started shaking, and Isaac said, oh, snap. Who you say you are? And he said, man, dude, I'm your son. He says, I've already eaten of the venison, and I've already given out the blessing. Dude, you're a day late and $1 short. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried in a great voice. He was bitter with it. Forget about the fact that I sold my birthright. I forgot about that, right? Bless me also, my father. Verse 35. And he said, look, man, dude, I'm sorry, but your brother done come in here, and man, your brother done stole your blessing. Now, what is notable about this is that the blessing that was given was something that had to have been so notable and so special. Okay? It had to have been something so notable and so special that it bore weight. It bore weight in the realms of the spirit. It bore weight in heaven. It bore weight before the Most High. This is something we've already seen, where these oaths and these blessings, they are before the Most High, and they carry weight. We're talking about destiny changing weight. We're talking about changing the trajectory of your life as spoken by the priest of the home, who is the father. I pray that this comes back into our homes, where the fathers stand as the priests, and what they deem to be a blessing, and how they bless their firstborn, and how they bless actually takes place in the lives of their children. I pray that we get back to these days where what the Father said mattered, and what the Father said carried weight, and the Most High heard and blessed according to the words of the Father. I truly hope that these times come back, and I do believe that they will. So this was something that could not be undone. It could not be changed. Okay. And he said, Esau said, man, that Negro got the right name, Jacob, because he's always tricking people. He's always tricking me. Okay. And he's got the right name. These 2 times. I know I was pretending like I forgot about my birthright, but I know. He did. He tricked me. He tricked me. And now he done did it again. Okay. And then he says in bitterness, he says unto his dad, look, don't you have another blessing for me? Don't you have another blessing for me? Okay. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord. This is something that cannot be undone. And all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, look, dude, I know you got more than one blessing down in there. I know you got more than one blessing. Can't you bless me too? Oh, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and he cried like a baby. And Esau, his father, answered and said unto him, verse 39, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of the heavens from above, right? You're going to have a similar blessing than your brother. But, dude, by your sword, you're going to live. You're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have to scrap for it. And you are going to serve your brother. And notice this last clause of this blessing in verse number 40. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion that you shall break his yoke from off of your neck. Okay? Which gives us insight into the plight and the pathway, the trajectory of the Edomites, okay, that would come to pass at a later date. Verse number 41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing. Now, please keep in mind that this is what is taking place today. This is what's also taking place today. Because of the blessing of the true chosen, those that are not the true chosen hate, and they want to circumvent, they want to, in many cases, it's exactly the same. Whereas Jacob wanted to kill Esau, yeah, it's the same thing all over again. So notice what we read here. The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother. Oh, you just wait till daddy die. When daddy die, I got something for you, Jacob. I'm tired of you, Jacob. I got something for you. When daddy die, man, I'm about to do something to you. Well, notice what we read here in verse number 42. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebeccah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, look, dude, Esau about to get you. Okay, Esau about to get you. He wanted to kill you doorknob dead. So you got to get out of Dodge, son. You got to go. Verse number 43. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice. Get up and go to Laban. Okay, which is my brother, your uncle. Get up. Okay, you're going to go there. Okay, and just, let it, wait a few days, right? Until all this blows over. Just take a chill pill. Okay. Just do it until your brother's no longer mad at you. He gonna cool down. He gonna cool down. Okay. And Rebeccah said unto Isaac, I don't want to lose both y'all on the same day. So now notice what Rebeccah does. Okay. Notice what Rebeccah does. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Now, wait a minute. Why did he say that? Because watch what Rebeccah did. And Rebeccah said to Isaac, see, what I really want is I want Isaac to be okay with the fact that Jacob has to leave. So let me go and let me say this to Isaac. She says, I am weary of my life because of these daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, ooh, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what. I may as well die. I may as well just die. Now, what is this? Well, you know what it is. I know what it is. This is manipulation. Okay? And in this, my brothers, is a perfect portrait. The man may be the head, but the woman is the neck that turns the head. You can boast all you want to. I'm the head of the... My brother, you may be the head, but the woman is the neck that turns the head. She says, look, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just, man, if I get... And notice what happens next. She gets exactly what she wants. She is manipulating Isaac. Okay? And so now verse 28 and 1, chapter 28 and 1, and Isaac calls unto Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, you shall not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. I've made up my mind and I don't want you to do this. Meanwhile, basically, this is all him being manipulated by his wife. Okay? Arise, go down to Pandanaram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father. So basically, she really told him everything to say, right? And God Almighty bless thee and make thee fruitful and multiply thee and, make you a multitude of people and stuff, right? Because you're blessed. And Jacob, notice here, and oh, by the way, I got to mention this, y'all. Look at verse number 4. Genesis 28 and 4. In fact, this is such an important point. Let me take a break and I'll be right back. Okay, this point that I want to make is so important that I wanted to take a break, grab me something to drink so that I can start this point. Now, what point is this that I want to make? Well, we're at Genesis 28 and verse number 4. Notice what it reads. This is the latter part of Isaac blessing Jacob. What does he tell him? May the Most High make you a multitude of people and give thee the blessing of Abraham. What? And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham. Well, why is that so important, Moray? It's important because this is proof that the Apostle Paul was not a true Pharisee. He was not a Pharisee. Any Pharisee, any son of the law would know by reading this verse that the blessings of Abraham were given to his biological seed and to the multitude of his seed. Okay? This denies Christianity the right to exist. Look at verse number 3. He tells them, may you become a multitude of people. You're going to be a multitude of people. Okay. In other words, your seed is going to be many. And then he says, the Most High give you the blessings of Abraham, you and all of your seed with you, which are going to be many. Yes, you're going to inherit the land, right? And this is the blessing of Abraham. So all that smack that the Apostle Paul is saying by revelation, that this is, seed as of many, no, it's foolishness. It's a lie. And I needed to show you right here in Genesis 28, verses 3 and 4, that this so-called Apostle Paul did not know what he was talking about. It is a lie. Christianity is a lie. Okay? And it can't be denied. It can't be denied. I wanted to pause and make that point because it is such an important point. This is a proof text right here. These two verses, Genesis 28, verses 3 and 4. Verse number 5, and when Isaac sent away Yaakov, and he went to Padanaram unto Laban, son of Bethuel, okay, Bethuel, we could talk about that later, Bethuel, son of Bethuel, if you catch that, the Syrian, the brother of Rebeccah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. When Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob, he sent him away to Padanaram to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother, he was gone to Padanaram, and Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, he's like, look, dude, I'm gonna get all y'all. I'm mad at all y'all. Then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had, Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abram's sons, and the sister of Nebaioth to be his wife. And Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran, and he lifted up a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of the place and put them for pillars, and he lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder. And we understand this particular, yes, we do. We understand this particular passage, because this is the ladder, right? This is the ladder. And we're going to get to that. We're at the end of the Torah portion for today. And so we're going to stop where Jacob leaves, and here where it says that Esau went and took wives of the very women that his parents did not want him to take. May the Most High add a blessing to the reading and understanding of his word. We will be right back. Now's the time that we're opening it up for questions. If you have a question that you want to ask regarding this segment, it has to be concerning this segment. If you have a question regarding this segment, now's the time for you to populate the chat room. If you are not already in the chat room, now's the time for you to go ahead and to ask your question. Please address me in your question. That way I will know. Yeah, I will know that, yes, you want me to respond to your comment, or you want me to respond to your question. Now is the time for you to ask. I'm going into the chat room, and we're going to see what you have. Yeah, we're going to see what you may have to say and ask concerning this particular Torah portion. And you know what, Michael Charles Marsh, see, you are thinking of the same thing that I was thinking of, because the next time that we see where Yaakov comes to Isaac, Isaac does not say anything about, boy, why did you trick me? Why did you do that? Why did you? No, it seems as if somewhere along the way, Isaac may have felt like what is done is done. I cannot change it. So why say anything about it? Okay. But what was done, and maybe he realized that it was the will of the Most High that Jacob end up with the blessing. But hey, you and I, we were both on the same page. We were both thinking the same thing when I read that. So whatever questions you can, whatever questions you have. Okay. So I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes. If anyone wants to ask a question, I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes We're not gonna wait long. Okay, we're not gonna wait long. Be right back. Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I want to come to your church or to sit down with you, Pastor, and have a build where we discuss, open up scriptures, and discuss the realities behind the Hebrew way of life and following the laws. Please call the number below, and if unanswered, please leave a message. Thank you. Shalom. All right, we are back. Yes, we are back. And you know what? Okay, since there aren't any questions, hey, we're going to move on to our next segment. So, here we go.
Behind the scenes. Away from the flashing lights and roaring crowds, some pastors have traded the true message of the gospel for something far more calculated, carefully scripted performances designed to look like divine power. Today, we're uncovering 12 shocking instances where so-called miracles were exposed for what they really were. And by the time you reach number 1, you may find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew about miracles. Number 12, Lily Java. Prophetess Lily Java is still one of the most talked about and controversial pastors in the world, especially in the United States. Though she was born in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, she relocated to the U.S. in the early 2000s. Today, she's married to Prophet Passion Java, and together they run the Kingdom Embassy Church. Their ministry has expanded quickly, growing into more than 30 branches across the globe. Still, the couple is widely known for their flashy lifestyle and love for extravagance. And that's only one of the many reasons they constantly find themselves in the middle of controversy. In 2023, during a televised prophecy session, she spoke on the phone with an unknown woman who seemed to be seeking spiritual intervention. Lily then declared that they needed to pray immediately because the woman's mother was supposedly on the brink of death, only for the entire prophecy to go completely wrong.
She passed away in 2009. How do I see that then? How did she pass away? She had diabetes. Did she ever see, did she fall out?
Once the clip hit the internet, criticism poured in from every direction.
So she prophesied that everybody needed to pray because her mother was about to die, but her mother was already dead. Okay? Her mother was already dead. Okay, look, she's a supposed prophet. Bottom line of it is, I mean, I've seen so many things like this go wrong, where someone has a word from the Lord and where someone has, been there, been in church myself. In fact, I've done it before, right? So I know what I'm talking about. I've seen these scenes. I've been there, done that. And it's just, there's a lot built upon the shoulders of faith. If you just believe, all you got to do is believe. And that is what is the money maker for these people. You believe without reason, you believe without anything being substantiated, and you're taken advantage of.
In fact, she hasn't been spotted since then performing any supposed miracles on live television.
I don't blame her. I wouldn't do it either.
Number 11, Prophet Bushiri. Shepherd Bushiri, popularly known as Major One, is a Malawian preacher who became famous through his church, the Enlightened Christian Gathering based in South Africa. Over time, he attracted massive crowds, mostly because of his luxurious lifestyle, private jets, and countless claims of performing miracles. One of the most unbelievable so-called miracles he showcased happened during a church service, where he claimed he could snap photos in the spirit using his iPad.
The devil tried to attack your child. Do you have children?
Yes, man of God.
How many?
And all of this is staged. We've actually seen some of this before, right? We've seen this before. Okay. So, yeah.
The miracles were never real. Only the deception was. Number 8, Kenneth Copeland. When the COVID-19 pandemic swept the world in early 2020, millions of people turned to their faith for comfort. But few responses from the religious community drew more attention or more disbelief than what Kenneth Copeland broadcast on April 3rd, 2020. Copeland, one of America's wealthiest televangelists with a reported net worth of around $300 million, stood before an empty church and pointed directly into the camera.
COVID-19!
COVID-19.
Oh, I mean, like, really? And they followed him and did the same thing.
Burn!
He declared a supernatural heat wave, drew in a long breath, and blew forcefully toward the lens, shouting that COVID-19 was destroyed forever by the wind of God.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness.
I execute judgment on you, Satan! You destroyer! You killer! You get out! You break go!
Okay. Okay. So, wow. And this dude to the right of him is like, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You get off this nation!
He further declared that he will execute the judgment on COVID-19. Then, in the middle of his own declaration, he laughed.
I blow the wind of God!
The wind of God.
On you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. You know what? Yeah, everybody, I don't know if I can take any more of this because this is just crazy. I'm done. Brothers and sisters, let me back up a little bit because, okay, I just couldn't take any more of Kenneth Copeland, okay? Why couldn't I take any more of Kenneth Copeland? I know a pastor that was losing his church that had been tithing and had been faithful to Kenneth Copeland for years. I'm talking about a pastor that was, in the Word of Faith movement, prosperity ministry, all this, blah, blah, blah. And their church got in trouble. He calls Kenneth Copeland. And I know for a fact that Kenneth Copeland himself, I've spoken with some of the staff members. Yes, he's got money and he's actually paid for churches. He shelled out $250,000, $300,000. He's a very wealthy man and he could have written that off. But do you not know that he did not help this black pastor that had been with him for years when he could have easily done so? And I just, these guys, I've just had my fill of them, and I just can't take the foolishness. And there's, I'm just so done with them. It's time for Hebrew money.
Marcus and Claire. Same age, 25. Same city, same job, same starting salary. In January of the same year, they both made the exact same financial decision. They opened an investment account and put in $300 a month. Same platform, same fund, same return rate. Neither of them had done this before. Fast forward 33 years. Marcus has $1,100,000. Claire has $520,000. That's a $580,000 gap between two people who started with the same amount on the same day with the same $300 a month. Same starting point, same monthly contribution. 33-year gap of $580,000. We're going to talk about exactly why. My name is William, and I've spent a genuinely embarrassing amount of time staring at 40-year compound interest tables, so you don't have to. And I'm guessing right now you're thinking something like, my portfolio looks basically the same as it did last year. Is this even working? That thought is more common than you know, and it has a very specific answer. It's called the 7-5-3-1 rule. By the end of this, you won't just understand how compounding works, you'll understand why it feels broken before it explodes, and how to stay in long enough to see the explosion. Here's the thing. You are not bad with money. You are not lazy. You are not behind in some permanent, unfixable way. You haven't been lied to about investing. You've just been shown the finish line, the $1 million retirement account, the beach house, the financial freedom, without the map of what the middle is supposed to look like. And the middle looks quiet, boring, suspiciously flat. So people assume it's broken. They pull out. They redirect the money. They wait for a better moment. And in doing so, they step off the curve right before it bends. Here is the thing that changes everything once you hear it. The first 10 years of compounding generate less than 4% of your 40-year wealth. The last 10 generate over 60%. That is not a motivational poster. That is math. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So here's the map. Take $10,000, park it somewhere earning 10% per year, the historical average of a broad market index fund. Not a promise, a historical average. Then watch what happens. After 10 years, you have $25,000. Not bad, not exciting. After 20 years, $67,000. After 30 years, $174,000. After 40 years, $452,000. Now look at that last step, the jump from year 30 to year 40. That single decade adds $278,000, more than the entire 30 years before it, combined. That number should stop you cold, not because it's inspiring, because it means the people who quit in year 12 were 11 years away from the accelerator kicking in. Then there's Warren Buffett. People talk about his genius, his stock-picking instincts, his famous annual letters. Fine, but look at his timeline. His net worth at age 50 was roughly $300 million, already extraordinary by any measure.
Today, it exceeds $100 billion. 99% of Warren Buffett's wealth was built after his 50th birthday. It wasn't his IQ that built the back half. It was the back half of the curve. 4 numbers, 1 rule. Here's what each of them means, and more importantly, what each of them feels like, because that's where people go wrong. At 10% average annual return, your money doubles roughly 7 years, not approximately, mathematically, the rule of 72. Divide 72 by your return rate, and that's your doubling time. At 10%, you get 7.2 years. Think of it like a copy machine. Every 7 years, it makes a copy of everything you've accumulated. The copies don't know how stressed you are. They don't care what your portfolio looks like this month. They just copy. $300 becomes $600 in 7 years, $1,200 in 14, $2,400 in 21. You didn't earn that last $1,200. The machine did. But here's what 7 years feels like from the inside. Nothing. For most of the first cycle, it feels like your money is standing still. That feeling is lying to you. The machine is running. You just can't hear it yet. The first 5 years of investing feel like a silent phase. You put money in, you check the account, the number is almost identical to last month. You refresh it, still the same. You start wondering if you'd be better off in a high-yield savings account, or real estate, or crypto, or literally anything that gives you a signal that something is happening. Behavioral economists have a name for what makes this unbearable: present bias. Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman showed this repeatedly. The human brain is not built to feel exponential growth. It's built to process this week, this month, this number on the screen. Which means the silent phase feels like failure, even if it is, by every mathematical measure, going exactly as planned. The silent phase is not the problem. Quitting during the silent phase is the problem. There are 3 emotional checkpoints on this journey, and every investor hits them. Not some investors, every investor. The ones who built generational wealth named these checkpoints in advance. The ones who didn't reacted to them.
The first is doubt. It lives in years 1 through 3. The account barely moves. Life gets expensive. A voice says, "Is this even worth it?" The correct answer is yes. You're early, not wrong. The second is frustration. It shows up around years 4 through 7. You can now do the math. You've watched the videos, you know about the hockey stick, but your actual account doesn't look like a hockey stick. It looks like a modest bump. The gap between what you know intellectually and what you feel emotionally becomes genuinely uncomfortable. This is the curve loading. It is not evidence of failure. The third is panic. It arrives during a market crash, and there will be a crash. The account drops 15, 20, 30% in months. Every instinct says protect what's left, get out, wait for stability to return. Dalbar's 2023 QAIB report found that the average equity investor earned 6.81% over 20 years, while the S&P 500 returned 9.65% over the same period. That 2.84% gap, compounded over 30 years, costs the average investor over $140,000. Not from picking bad stocks, from responding to the 3 emotional checkpoints instead of naming them in advance and letting them pass. The 2008 crash felt like the end. The market fully recovered by 2012, 4 years. The investors who stayed made every dollar back and then kept accumulating. This sounds like a footnote. It is not a footnote. Every year, once a year, increase your monthly contribution by 1% of what you're currently contributing. If you're putting in $300 a month in year 1, contribute $303 in year 2, $306 in year 3. That's it, $3. The 1 is the least dramatic lever in the entire framework. It is also the most powerful one. Let's stop for a second. If you've ever checked your portfolio during a market downturn and felt the urge to pull everything out, you did not have a character flaw. If you've ever paused your contributions because life got expensive and the account didn't seem to be doing anything anyway, that was not laziness,
That was the silent phase, doing what the silent phase does to every human brain that was never shown what year 5 is supposed to look like. If you've never opened an investment account at all, because it felt too complicated, too small, or too late, that was a predictable response to a system that handed you the finish line poster without ever giving you the map. The question now isn't what you should have done. The question is whether you know the map before the next time one of those 3 moments shows up in front of you. Phase 1, doubt, years 1 through 3. You open the app on a Tuesday. The number is $42 higher than last month. You contributed $300. The math doesn't feel right. You close the app and open a personal finance Reddit thread. You wonder if you should switch funds, switch brokerages, switch strategies. You don't need to switch anything. You are in the compounding loading screen. Early is not wrong. Phase 2, frustration, years 4 through 7. You understand compounding now. You've built a spreadsheet.
Bottom line, family, and I know this is a long video and I apologize, but hey, bottom line is don't give up. Do the right thing. Don't give up and just continue to let your money work for you. It is the way to go. It is what you need to do. And that's just a simple note for this. Don't give up. Continue to let the Most High bless the works of your hands, bless your storage, make sure that your money is working for you. Be right back.
Negro Israelite, a son of Cush. Zephaniah means Yahweh hides. Now, Zephaniah or Zephaniah, a Negro Israelite, a son of Cush. Zephaniah means Yahweh hides. Now, Zephaniah's father was named Cushi, and Cushi as an adjective, that means black. In both Hebrew, it means black, and in Greek, it means black. Now, Cushi is an affectionate term for a Negro of Ethiopian origin, derived from the biblical land of Cush. And it is an area that was alongside the Niger River. And if you actually look at ancient maps in 1736, ancient maps in 1747 of Africa, you'll find a country called Negro Land and the Kingdom of Judah. This is of utmost importance for us to understand how Yahweh is gathering the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad. Because what actually happened is in this Gulf of Guinea in Western Africa, European slave ship holders, they were Ashkenazi slavers. They were of European origin. They were Western Mongols that had infiltrated Britain and mainly Portugal. They were the Ashkenazi slavers. They were wealthy merchant slavers that went down to the coast of Guinea. They employed Mohammedan trappers, Islamics, to go into the Kingdom of Judah and Negro Land and take the royal house of Judah captive in slave ships, as it's recorded in the book of Deuteronomy, and bring them over to America, and they became known today as what? African Americans. Who is trying to enslave the African Americans more than any people? Democratic socialism, which is why I am a huge supporter of Brexit and Candace Owen and those that are bringing the awareness. Now, Brexit means what? It's African Americans or blacks that are exiting the Democratic Party because they've been awakened to see that the Democratic Party are the biggest slavers and always have been in the USA. So Candace Owens is doing an amazing job with Brexit, blacks exiting the Democratic Party, realizing that, of course, democratic socialism is, of course, all part of this globalist agenda of what we need to expose. So, all that to say this, Zephaniah, of course, a Negro Israelite, more complex than what Bible scholars would just like to rush through because it is not politically expedient to them today. We're going to see, of course, this area of which Zephaniah, this area, of course, of which we're talking about, Negro land and the Kingdom of Judah. If you were to look at an African map today, the Kingdom of Judah, right on the Gulf of Guinea, appears today in the present day Republic of Benin and the nation of Togo. So if you look on a map today at the nation of Togo and the present Republic of Benin, that is where the Kingdom of Judah and Negro land was. So this is very important to our history as Israel. And many will go, well, you can't say the word Negro. I find that so offensive. I just think that that's culturally insensitive, Matthew. I'm talking biblical anthropology. Grow up, snowflake. You are not special. You are not beautiful. You are not a unique snowflake. You are the same decaying organic matter as everything else. Give me a break.
How do you really feel about this? Care to say more?
People today are whitewashed walls, are they not? Literally snowflakes. Cush is one of the sons of Ham, who is the son of Noah. Now, Cush, therefore, is Noah's grandson. The territory named after Cush is called the land of Cush, and it's actually found in Genesis chapter 2, verse 13, where the word Cush is listed as Aethiopias, or Ethiopia in the Septuagint, the LXX, which is the same word, Cush, that's used in other verses in the Bible. You can find it in Isaiah 11:11, and it comes across as Aethiopias in the Septuagint, Isaiah 45, verse 15, Ethiopian, and of course we just studied it, Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 7, Ethiopian. So what we're talking about here is Negro as a anthropological biblical term, because I want to expose democratic socialism and slavery as it was then, so it is today, which is why I'm a big supporter of Candace Owens and Brexit. Blacks.
Well, I don't know what you think about Candace Owens and Brexit, okay? Maybe this is a good place for me to remind you that this is the Controversial Corner, and of course, in our segments on the Controversial Corner, we do see things that are controversial, right? Which are not necessarily the views of this particular channel and platform and community, But I will say this. I feel as a people, I do believe that we need to wake up and ask ourselves the question, the things that we're involved in, is it liberating us or is it keeping us at a status quo? And what is that status? What is the status quo? Is it liberation? Is it blessings? What exactly is it? Now, people may look at me and say, oh, he's crazy, and of course, yeah, I'm supposed to say that this is all for educational and, whatever, blah, blah, blah purposes. Educational and entertainment purposes only. You can look at me as I'm crazy, but I really think that there is a system at work here. And I think we need to take a deeper look at what is really happening in front of us. And I don't think that that is controversial. I don't think that's controversial at all. I really do believe that we as a people need to just kind of see what's right in front of us. Okay. And with that being the point, are we better off? Were we better off with Martin Luther King? Were we better off with Malcolm X? Or were we not better off with any of them? Are we better off with religion? Or are we better off with spirituality? What exactly is going on? These are the kind of questions I feel like we need to answer, because otherwise I find that we're becoming rats on treadmills, going through a lot of motions and just remaining nowhere at the same time. And that is not what I want for us and for our people. With that being stated, while this gentleman does speak truth, I think we need to ask ourselves some deeper questions as he is suggesting on what is really going on. I never really paid attention to Brexit and all that kind of stuff, because if you talk about Democratic and Republican, at least over here in the United States, I feel like they're two sides of the same coin. I don't think that you're going to get anywhere with that at all. We as Hebrews, we're not allowed to vote for anyone that is not us and that is not of our government. So there you have it. I know it's controversial, but it's just one of those things that I feel we need to ask and I feel we need to talk about at some point in time. Do I know about Africa in the Tanakh? Do I know about Africa in the Tanakh? How Hebrew are you? Which African region is most directly associated with the river Gihon in the primeval world description? Which African region is most directly associated with the river Gihon in the primeval world description? Is it A for Mitzrayim, or B for Cush, or C for Put, or D for Lud, or is it E for none of the above? Joshua Cooper is the first to weigh in with a B. Christine Croning weighs in with a B. Ben Naftali weighs in with a B. George Evans also weighs in with a B. Michael Charles Marsh also weighs in with a B, as well as Miss H weighs in with a B. It looks like we have a consensus. Going once, going twice. Which African region is most directly associated with the river Gihon? Raymond Radcliffe weighs in with a B. Bidug weighs in with a B. Peace and blessings to you. Glad that you're here. What is the answer? The answer is B, Cush. Which African region is most directly associated with the river Gihon in the primeval world description? It's Cush. The answer is B. We find that in Genesis, coming to us from Genesis chapter 2, verse number 13, that reads, "And the name of the second river is Gihon, the same is it that encompasses the whole land of Ethiopia." Congratulations to those that did get a correct answer. Okay, all of you that were named before, Mr. Weeze, Bibog, Raymond Radcliffe, everyone did get the correct answer. Not a single wrong answer. Congratulations. Question number 2. Which African power is described as having a ruler who came against Jerusalem in the days of Rehoboam? Which African power is described as having a ruler who came against Jerusalem in the days of Rehoboam? Is it A for Cush, or B for Put, or C for Mitzrayim, or D for Seba, or is it E for none of the above? Michael Charles Marsh is the first to weigh in with a C. Mr. Weeze also weighs in with a C. Ben Naphtali weighs in with a C. Our beloved elder Christine Croning weighs in with an A. Raymond Radcliffe weighs in with a C. Josh Cooper weighs in with an E. Biboob weighs in with a C. And the answer is... Which African power is described as having a ruler who came against Jerusalem in the days of Rehoboam? The answer is C, Mitzrayim. The reference is found from 1 Kings 14 and 25, also 2 Chronicles chapter 12 and verse number 2. And it came to pass that in the 5th year of King Rehoboam, Shishak, king of Mitzrayim of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem because they had transgressed against Yah. Congratulations to those that did get a correct answer. Question number 3. Which African associated figure is specifically called a eunuch and shown acting righteously toward the prophet Jeremiah? Which African associated figure is specifically called a eunuch and is shown acting righteously toward the prophet Jeremiah? Is it A, for Tirhakah, or B, for Aved Melech, or C, for Zerah, or D, for Tapenhes, or is it E, for none of the above? Question number 3, Michael Charles Marsh was the first to weigh in with the C. Joshua Cooper weighs in with the B. Mr. Wees weighs in with the E. Christine Croning and Raymond Radcliffe also weigh in with the B. George Evans weighs in with the B. Miss H weighs in with the B. And Ben Naftali weighs in with a B. Mr. Wees says, nope, it's B. Says, I'm changing my answer. It's B. And so the answer is... Yes, the answer is B. Which African associated figure is specifically called a eunuch and shown acting righteously toward the prophet Jeremiah? Yes, is Aved Melech, servant of the king. Aved Melech reference comes to us from Jeremiah 38, 7 through 13, as well as Jeremiah 39, verses 15 through 17, and also including verse number 18. Jeremiah 39, 15 through 17 reads, Go and speak to Aved Melech the Ethiopian, saying, Thus says Yah of hosts, Yah Sabaoth, the Elohim of Israel, Behold, I will bring my words upon this city for evil and not for good, and they shall be accomplished in that day before thee, but I will deliver thee in that day, says Yah, and thou shalt not be given into the hand of the men of whom thou art afraid. All praises to the Most High. Fourth question, last question, question number 4. Which nation appears in prophetic judgment oracles as one of the peoples connected with North Africa and the Nile world? Which nation appears in prophetic judgment? Which nation appears in prophetic judgment oracles as one of the peoples connected with North Africa and the Nile world? Is it A for Cush, B for Put, C for Mitzrayim, or D for all of the above, or E for none of the above? Josh Cooper is the first to weigh in with a C. George Evans, C. Michael Charles Mars, C. Mr. Weeds weighs in with an A. Raymond Ratcliffe weighs in with the D. Josh Cooper also says, you know what, it sure could be a D. Christine Croning, our elder, weighs in with the D. Miss H says D with the question mark. And Naphtali says it's C. In fact, Mr. Weeze says, you know what? Hey, it's all of them. Well, what is the correct answer? The correct answer is D, all of the above. So, Mr. Weeze, you were right. It was D, all of the above. Reference comes to us from Ezekiel 29 and 30, and as well as Nahum 3 and 9. A reference comes to us from Isaiah 20, verses 4 through 5. So shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians, the Egyptian prisoners, and the Ethiopian captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt, and they shall be afraid and ashamed of Ethiopia, their expectation, and of Egypt, their glory. Congratulations to everyone that did get correct answers. Congratulations. This has been How Hebrew Are You?
It's time. How Hebrew are you? Your chance to share how much you know. A fun learning exercise and now here we go. Let's get ready to play.
It makes you laugh.
We cannot possibly understand.
Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I want to come to your church or to sit down with you, Pastor, and have a build where we discuss, open up scriptures, and discuss the realities behind the Hebrew way of life and following the laws. Please call the number below, and if unanswered, please leave a message. Thank you. Shalom.
possibly understand Western culture and the history of Western culture without the Bible.
Professor Francesca Stavrokopoulou is the head of theology and religion at the University of Exeter in the UK. She's a renowned biblical scholar who's devoted her life to looking for the historical evidence of one of the world's most important books.
But I'm not a fundamentalist who takes every word of the Bible as fact. I think the truth is much more interesting.
Would you please welcome Francesca Stavrokopoulou? I can't believe I stumbled on Francesca. What are the odds of that? So we're just going to talk about the Bible, and I want to learn more about it. First off, who wrote it and when?
Well, I want to bring your attention to one of the first things that was said by Dr. Jessica Stavrokopoulou. Basically, what she said was there's no way that you can understand Western culture without understanding the Bible. This being the case, then you understand why the Bible has been the major book and why the Bible has been the tool of governments. Now you understand why the Roman government in the first century would say, you know what, this Christianity thing, we're not gonna hide it. We're gonna get on this bandwagon. You understand now why, because it ends up being not just the seedbed, but the very foundation for Western culture as we know it. And needless to say, what is not spoken is the domination of the West itself finds its foundation in the Bible itself. How was it done that the West took a book from the East, made it their own, took it over, and then dominated as its world superpower? I'm telling you, you talk about magic, it is definitely magic.
Some people think that Moses wrote it, which he didn't, because Moses didn't exist. So then you have to think, well, who did write it? And it's basically a collection of different authors from centuries and centuries. So probably with the Hebrew Bible or Old Testament, you're talking about at least 500 years in the making. With the New Testament, you're talking about probably 150 to 200 years in the making. You
have to keep in mind that whenever you hear a Bible scholar say, or a theologian say, well, so-and-so did not exist, what they're saying is we don't have any archaeological evidence to substantiate their existence. In other words, for them, if it can't be measured in a test tube, if it can't be seen in some sort of writing somewhere that's etched in stone, they don't believe that it ever happened. So, hey, understand where she's coming from.
Okay. But basically, it was all written by men with daddy issues.
So here's the thing. There are people right now writing complaint letters just on the first answer to the first question. Right, so I'm wondering, why is taking a historical approach to the Bible so controversial?
Here's what a whole home...
Okay, this is not supposed to be happening. I'm supposed to have the, the whole don't interrupt me while I'm watching a YouTube video. That's supposed to be in play here, but for some reason it's not. Don't know why. But hey, sorry about that. Hold on, let me get rid of some stuff here.
Historical approach. So look at the archaeological evidence for sort of events or people described in the Bible. It's very hard to find corroborating evidence to support the biblical claim.
And so that's why they always say this didn't exist, that person didn't exist, is because they cannot find corroborating evidence, okay? They need evidence in order to understand, yeah, we can prove that this person, Moses or whoever, existed.
It was about the past. So once you start saying, did this actually happen or not? So was Jonah swallowed by a big fish? Obviously, no, he wasn't swallowed by a big fish. Was there an exodus from Egypt? No, there wasn't an exodus. So once you start doing that, then you have to start doubting the credibility of all the other claims that the Bible makes. And that's why people get annoyed, because for some reason, people like to think that the Bible's true.
Right. People like Pete's like to think that the Bible is true.
Yeah.
Well, see, one of the things I will say about this is they kept saying for years, well, David did not exist. There was no Israel. David didn't exist until they found the inscription that references the house of David, Hamelech, that referenced the house of David. Here's the issue. Basically, when I hear them say, well, Moses didn't exist, or this didn't exist, or that didn't exist, I really take it as they just didn't find it yet. Once they find it, they're going to do the same thing that they did with King Hezekiah, with the house of David, and so forth and so on. They're going to backtrack and say, oh, well, yeah, now we understand that they do exist, but they weren't as large as what is written, in the scriptures. So this is the game that they play. So you have to understand that when they say that certain things didn't exist, all they're saying is, we haven't found the evidence for it yet.
Really, we'll get back. One of the first things you said was Moses wasn't real.
Yeah.
Right. Now, we've just had Pesach, the celebration of freedom of the Jews.
Yeah.
Led by Moses to freedom.
Yeah.
And you're saying he wasn't real.
No, he probably wasn't. So there's a lot about him that's really interesting. So in his tradition...
So you notice, at first she said he didn't exist. Now she says, well, he probably didn't.
The traditions that are told about him. So Moses is an Egyptian name. The Hebrew Bible writers kind of say this name is derived from a Hebrew verb meaning to draw out of the water. So when he was a baby and kind of set into the basket of reeds. But actually...
So far, story checks out.
So far, it checks out, except that Moses himself, there's no evidence for him being a historical figure like Abraham.
And that's why they say what they say. Again, she's proving it because there's no evidence. In other words, they haven't found the evidence yet.
Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all of that. It's all made up. But he's drawn on different sorts of religious figures that probably were around very broadly in the culture. So he's like a bit of a magician. So, he's like, woo, look at this star.
Yeah, we all like a good magician, but some people want to believe it's more than that. How do you know? Like when you say none of that was real, it was all made up, how do you know?
Because dating the text, you can see in terms of the Hebrew words that are used, in terms of some of the details like references to camels. There were no camels in that part of the world at that time. That kind of stuff.
You lied to me, Cecil B. DeMille.
But yeah, that kind of detail tells you that these texts were written many centuries after the events that they're describing. And then you can see the ideology. Well, why are they telling the story about escape from slavery and oppression and movement into a promised land? It's because the writers themselves were in their own kind of slavery and oppression, but in Babylon in the 6th century BCE, not in Egypt, hundreds and hundreds of years before that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't.
It makes perfect sense. But
No, it doesn't make sense.
You love the Bible.
Yeah, I do.
Why? Like if you like go, well, that's not real, he's not a guy.
Yeah.
Why do you love it so much?
Because it's like the most amazing collection of ancient literature. It's like reading. It's like going into a time capsule. It's like time traveling, and you get to read all about these different sorts of myths and legends. Like, one of the most important myths in the Old Testament Hebrew Bible is the idea that God had to fight a massive sea dragon to create the world. Now, you don't get that in Genesis. You get hints of it in Genesis, but you do get it.
Hang on, what are the hints?
The hints?
What? No, like, I'm just curious. Like, it's like, Ixnay on the Agon tray. Like, what was it? Like, what's...
So one of the hints is, on the such and such a day when God was making the world, he made the great sea monsters. And the word that they don't actually do that in the Bible, but the word that they use is the ancient word for this is tanin, which is this ancient, mythical, watery, ferocious chaos monster, like a sea dragon. But then we read all about his actual battle with the sea dragon in the book of Isaiah and in the book of Job and in the Psalms. So it's all there. It's just that everyone kind of privileges the beginning of the book because most people get bored by the time they get to Leviticus and they don't bother reading.
There's just so much admin in Leviticus.
I know,
it's like this is what you do with mildew. Put it in a drawer, see if it grows. Call a rabbi, burn your house down. Like
But detail's important in that kind of thing, particularly.
Well, mildew it still plagues us today. So I've been to Jerusalem, the old city of Jerusalem, and it's amazing when the places mentioned in the Bible are in front of you. Like I stood in the Garden of Gethsemane, and the fact that these are real places starts to make you feel like this is more true. Why does it become more compelling? Because it's in a place that exists.
Whether you're, an atheist like me or you're religious like other people, the Bible has played such a massive role in our lives, right from when we're kids, that somehow to be in these places, I think you can't but help. Just feel engaged and excited and curious, and to go somewhere like Jerusalem where obviously the Bible still matters, because as we know, Jerusalem is still the kind of the heart, the kind of the central place for Judaism, Christianity, and obviously Islam as well, and we know the political tensions, we see it on the news all the time, you can't but help feel impacted by that.
Now, you've already pointed out a few things that weren't real in the Bible.
Yeah.
What was real? Like, I believe the Garden of Eden, you believe, was a real place.
Well, I believe it's based on a real place. It's based on the Jerusalem temple that was supposedly built by Solomon and was destroyed. And we think probably historically it was destroyed by the Babylonians in the 6th century BCE. And the temple itself is meant to be like the dwelling place of the god. And like humans, God wants a nice house and he wants a nice garden. And it's the meeting place between the heavenly realm and the earthly realm. And so it was filled with trees, and it was a very sensory experience going into the temple. There were nice smells of incense, and that's what the story of Eden is based on. The idea is that human beings, or a king in this case, was in a very privileged position like that with God. He messes up, he gets expelled from the garden, so he's like thrown out of the temple, and that's when the temple historically is destroyed. And the kings of Israel no longer exist.
So, if you were editing the Bible, what would you take out? Is there anything that you'd remove?
New Testament? No.
That's pretty controversial. Surely not all of the New Testament.
Okay. Paul. Anything written by St. Paul?
Just all of Paul.
And I find it interesting that she's saying that one of the first things she'd take out is the New Testament. Apparently, she does know something that we don't know, right?
Yes.
That's like taking Paul out of the Beatles. He was pretty important. No, because Paul wrote a huge amount of the New Testament.
Yeah.
He was by and large the founder of the church.
He is the founder of Christianity.
So
why are you not investing in tax lien?
So apparently this scholar, though is an admitted atheist, says, you know what? If there were anything I was going to take out, it would definitely be the New Testament. She went right there without any question. She went right into it, and she said, hey, I would take it out. But really though, other than, you can't say the New Testament, the writings of Paul, I take out it. And she is, as far as that point is concerned, I think she's right where I am. I think she's right where many people in this community would be, that, hey, we could have a discussion on this, but I think you guys know where we stand with the Apostle Paul and the Christian New Testament. And it's just one of those things that, hey, we could talk about, we really could, but at the same time, it's like, hey, this has been a look at a scholarly opinion and something that we wanted to just really note and highlight. And with that being the case, we will go into our next segment, which is, the last segment, which our last segment, one of my favorite, coming right up. So, you know what? With the weather getting nice, it's getting nicer where I'm at. I know it's probably getting nicer where you're at. I wanted our brother AB, the guy that always makes us hungry. I wanted AB to take us to the grill to see what we could do with some good outdoor cooking for the summer.
Now, and then you guys been watching these past few videos I've been putting out. I've been doing a lot of chicken. I've been focusing on the budget-friendly, series, and I've been using the crock pot, right? So today I'm gonna show you just how easy it is to feed a family, feed an army, or whatever. We're finna make a crock pot barbecue chicken. Let's get it.
Barbecue chicken.
All right, so listen, I'm going to explain this and make this just as simple as I can, right? I'm putting all of my dry ingredients in right now. Because what we doing is we making our seasoning blend, right?
I got to get me some of them cute little bowls to put your seasoning in when you go on camera. That's cute. I like that.
And then I'm coming with, the brown sugar. Now, brown sugar, if you leave it out like I just did, it tends to be, it's a little moist on the bottom, but it was drying out on the top, right? So I'm going to have to get in here with my hand and break this up, right? Any of them little hard, compact, like something like this, I just take it out, right? But anything that I can just use this whisk or my fingers, to break it up, that's what you want to do, folks. Now, let me just get in here, move this around, and I'm going to continue breaking down that, the brown sugar.
Yeah. You didn't give us the seasoning.
This is what we're going to do. Now that we got our seasoning, right, I'm going to take this. Now, I already washed my chicken, cleaned it up, and did whatever else I'm going to do to it. And then I don't know what company this was, but they have cleaned the feathers off anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put some seasoning on here just like this. And we just leave it there. Grab another one, and we do that. Now, I'm not finna bore you guys. You guys got to adjust. I don't care if you do it old school, shake and bake. I'm telling my age, because if you know about shake and bake, you got to be around my age. You remember them commercials? You remember that paper bag? All right, so now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just start staging, our chicken, right? So putting it in is no particular way, I put them in. I try to make it make sense,
Make it make sense.
The rest of them, and then we'll put them right on top. Now, even though that I went ahead and seasoned it, don't forget the full ingredient list is on my website, smokingandgrillingwithab.com, and that's WITAB.com. But you see this right here? For all you guys that have the A, even though I use the seasoning that I provided, I like to sprinkle a little bit of this on there also, along with a little bit of black pepper, right? So we just go ahead and dust these. Look at that right there. That's the problem with a lot of people when they make chicken. They don't really season everything. And just the fact that we put the first coating on there, it allows it to adhere and soak into the meat. What we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add some of this honey, right? I'm going to pour this honey right
no, you didn't.
Right there.
Oh, no, you
didn't.
You
got to love the way the honey pour, right? Now, don't forget, once it get hot, all this is going to work its way down, and we're going to end up with all of this honey all over, all over the bottom, right? A little pro tip, spray it with some non-stick spray, and you'll be able to get all of your honey out. Then we come with, our barbecue sauce, right? Now, this is my barbecue sauce. Man, the way it's been moving lately, I know you guys have it. If you don't forget, on my website, go ahead and check it out. If you don't have it, go ahead and use your favorite barbecue sauce. But you see this right here? Listen, the steam that it's going to give, the sweetness from this and the honey, along with the, how we seasoned everything, this is how you know it's going to be fire. And I want you guys to let me know down in the comment section below. What would you put this over the top? Would you do rice, mashed potatoes? Talk to me. All right, so only thing left to do is to put the top on here, you know what I mean, and then we set it. Now I'm finna give you guys a couple of options, right? Okay, so look, one of the ways we're going to do it, right? I'm going to go ahead and get high cook, and we can go either 3 to 4 hours, right? So for here, I'm just going to set it for 3 hours. We go 3.5, and I'm going to hit start.
It's a long time for the chicken.
Or you can do low cook, right? You can set your time. We can go 5 to 6 hours. I think I'm going to go 5.5 hours, and then I hit start. Okay, so look, now that my timer's done, now we want to go ahead and preheat our oven, right? Now I'm going to set it to broil. You guys set it to broil, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take this. We're going to break this, away from us so we don't get no steam burn, right? And now you guys are seeing it for the first time. That's it right there. Now, you guys want to do this. I know my grandma will be mad as heck because I'm doing this, but I always like to check the temperature, of my chicken, right? So we looking for 165. I'm looking at it right now. We have 171. Are we good? Now don't forget, dark meat. It takes that little extra. There's no problem. And it's been sitting in this juice too. You're talking about tender and juicy. Yes, sir. Here we go. All right, so what you want to do is get yourself, like a baking sheet and a cooling rack. Pay attention to this part right here. If you look underneath here, I lined it with foil. You will thank me if you guys do that. And the reason being, if you doing your own cleanup, you don't want the barbecue sauce or nothing like that to just stick to it, right? Because if it sticks to it, guess who got to clean it up? you do. I'm just grabbing these. Oh, these are so moist. And I just stage them like that. Look at that. Whew. And it smells incredible over here. All right, so now we just take it and just keep going. Now, we already preheating our oven, right? So since we doing that, it's really preheating to the broil setting. Now, watch what I do and watch what we do next. Remember how we reserved a little bit of that barbecue sauce? This is why, because what you want to do is you want to coat it. And because we got it on broil, if your favorite has a little bit of that sugar in there, you're going to like this part, because this is what's going to like make it nice and tacky, right? And just, help it to, stay on there. That's already cooked, so when we put it in the broiler, we only going to have it in there just for a few minutes. But look at this right here and tell me you guys don't want some of this. And don't forget, chicken is cheap for now.
Barbecue chicken.
All right, once you got them, painted, coated, or whatever the verbiage you want to use, stick them in the broiler, stay with it, and keep your eyes on it, right? And then we're going to go in just for about 2 to 3 minutes.
What? 2 to 3 minutes? Barbecue chicken. Oh.
Okay, so this is what we're working with. Let me hold this up so you guys can see. I'll put it out there like that. Gotta have like that big boy's plate, right? So listen, don't forget this chicken, a little bit more forgiving on your digestive system, but I'm not finna, talk to nobody and preach to them about what they eat. All I know is I'm gonna take this like this.
Is that mashed
right there? If your chicken don't come apart like that, I don't even know why I'm even talking, because look at this right here. And listen, there is a fine line between being mushy, and just soft and tender, chicken. With that being said, cheers, y'all. Yes, sir. Just in case. Hold on. You guys gotta love like these budget friendly, like really like dump and go type, style videos. And again, I just want to recap the fact that it is budget friendly, right? So you guys let me know down in the comment section below what other spices would you use outside of whatever I use, and then talk to me. But if you're trying to feed a lot of people, this is it right here, the simplicity. Now, if you're new to my channel, let me take this time to say thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button, and tell everybody out there. Listen, there's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. And it's time for that Kool-Aid, folks. I'm out. Peace.
Okay, so you didn't tell me about I don't know if that was mashed potatoes or rice up under there. I didn't know what that was. But I still got to give it to you, Brother AB. You still made me hungry. Okay, got to give you that. But I mean, I don't know. Should I feel cheated? Should we feel just a little cheated, family? Should we feel just, I don't know if we should feel a little cheated or not. Okay, but long story short, yeah. Just one of those things that I'm gonna say, yeah, okay, so they were mashed potatoes. Yeah, they're mashed potatoes. But were they garlic mashed potatoes? See, I like the whole story. Were they garlic mashed potatoes? That would just add to it. Were they regular mashed potatoes? Either way, I'm hungry, right? It doesn't matter. With that being the case, my brothers and sisters, I do appreciate your being here. I love you all. I appreciate the time that we've had together. We've done the Parsha, the Torah portion for this day, and we're gonna. For those of you that don't understand, we begin our Torah portion. We begin our Torah portion from the beginning of the new year, which is the month of Aviv. So we begin in the spring, and then we continue with the Torah portion. So we will continue that, my brothers and sisters. May the Most High bless you, keep you, enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. I know I'm going to do my best to enjoy the rest of mine. And Yah willing, we will see you for next midweek. Peace and blessings to you. I'm sure we're going to have another interesting discussion for, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Okay? Help us out. We appreciate you. I love you all. Peace and blessings to you, my family. Hey, may the Most High bless you. Shabbat Shalom.